guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm back, and it is Monday, September 16th, and it is 11:10 p.m. We're going to just pick up from where we left off, and because I have been sitting here and I haven't got up to take a break, I don't have the list with me of people that have contributed via coffee and the two people that sent me mail, but I will tomorrow, I promise. So anyway, we are going to get right into this. And I am freezing. I opened the window a little bit and it's cold out there. I mean, really cold out there. You know, probably the flashers are out there. They just have to describe themselves to people. Anyway, you know what they say in Canada. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and then shoot yourself. Anyway, let's get into this. Okay. Let's start off right here. This is where we are going to land and explore. Okay, I found this thread and it's quite interesting. Well, interesting would be an understatement. It's quite gobsmacking. How about that? I don't know. There's got to be other words, but we're going to land on that one for now. All right. Now, this is Carrie. I have never followed Carrie, but actually, I think I am going to go ahead and do that because this is a fascinating thread. Okay, she says, Luzzatto is the woman who was exposed in the Podesta WikiLeaks emails for having her kids brought by Uber to a pool party at the farm as entertainment. Do you all remember that? We've gone through that where, you know, well, we will remind you all in case you have forgotten. She also had a blog named Evie's Crib that you could just subscribe to and spend time with her baby Evie. Online, raw, and uncut. Really? Let's take a look at this. Evie's Crib. Evelyn is growing up. Soon she will be the queen of the entire US of A. Right now, for a limited time only, you can spend some time with her online, raw and uncut. Take advantage of this now, as in the future, she will have the power of life and death over you. All right, and it says Grand Tam visits with a new do to boot. Evie doesn't know it yet, but she's looking forward to many visits to the farm with cousins Ruby, Emma, and Maeve. Now, and this says Grand Tam and the Luzatets, I don't know. Not sure that is correct grammar. Grandma? Is that the plural of Luzzatto? Luzatets? Anyway, these are the children, the 4 children, but who, think about this, who has a child and offers that you could spend time with that child online, raw and uncut? Do you not think that's a little bit odd? Because I do. Yeah. Now this is from the email, I do believe. It says, with enormous gratitude to advanced man extraordinaire Haber, I am popping up again to share our excitement about the reprise of our gang's visit to the farm in Lovettsville, and I thought I'd share a couple more notes. We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be Uber service to transport, she'll be the Uber service to transport Ruby, Emerson, and Mav, Luzzatto, 11, 9, and almost 7, so you'll have some further entertainment. What? And they will be in the pool. They will be in that pool for sure. And with the forecast showing prospects of some sun and a cooler temperature of lower 60s, I suggest you bring sweaters. or whatever attire will enable us to use our outdoor table with a pergola overhead so we dine al fresco, and ideally not al chillo. I am CCing Trudy to repeat the invite and pinning wishes you could come to Rima, John Podesta, and Lori and Chris. Con amor, with love, Mrs. Farmer, L. Okay, and this is her. She is the senior vice president of the Pew Charitable Trust. Yes, she is. Now, let's go back here. So it's saying she's bringing her children to this party. I'm popping up again to share our excitement about the reprise of our gang's visit to the farm in Leavittsville. And I thought I'd share a couple more notes. We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby Emerson and Mauve Luzzatto, 11, 9, and almost 7, so you'll have some further entertainment. And they will be in that pool for sure. Yeah, and then back here, yeah, we see her with a child, Evie, and you can spend some time with her online, raw and uncut. Wow. And it says, with a new due to boot, Evie doesn't know it yet, but she is looking forward to many visits to the farm with cousins, Ruby, Emma, and Maeve. Or Mauve. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Well, and Ruby, Emma, and Mauve, or Maeve, and Ruby, Emerson, and Mauve Luzzatto. So those are the 3 kids that she is transporting to this farm, whatever that is. Interesting. No? You remember that John Podesta went somewhere like that, and it was the same deal. They were going to have these 3 kids in the pool for entertainment. So let's go on now. Now, anyone who has researched Project Monarch programming has learned basic 101 imagery. 2 main images that are associated with the brutal programming are butterflies and black and white checkered floor. Interesting that LeVar Burton starts his show with butterflies and a black and white floor. And I don't know if this is... Yeah, well, I've heard that one too many times. Okay, now, we also know that Monarch programming was specifically for child sex slaves. A big part of programming is songs and movies. Why? A popular song or movie is played during the brutalization part of the programming, so every time the child hears or sees it, they stay in check. The program brutalization is done to Disney imagery and songs, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, hence reading Rainbow, Alice in Wonderland, rabbits, Easter Bunny. Every time these poor children see a Mickey ear sticker, Easter Bunny, or a rainbow, their programming is enforced. And we all remember, well, this is Alice in Wonderland, and this is, but remember this? Very, very odd art with, and these are mannequins per se, but they are 2 rabbits, look like they are abusing a younger rabbit to me. Okay, almost every classroom across America watched Reading Rainbow daily. It's estimated 11 million students per week. That's a lot of kids. I taught first grade. As soon as this song came on, all my kids would sing it. It was almost hypnotic. Notice every clip in this original intro has a butterfly. This is the original intro.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere, friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow.
You know, that song could be very, I've heard it before, but it could be very, very hypnotic, and it's very catchy, but she's right. There's a lot of rainbows. There's a lot of, well, every single clip, there's butterflies. A little odd. All right, let's go on. There are children in every state, and one would argue every country. Well, this time of night, automatically, the yawns come. Forgive me. I'm sorry to those of you that yawned when you saw me yawn. Really, I am. Okay. So there are children in every state, and one would argue every country, who have been victims of monarch programming. They go to school like every other child, but are usually programmed during school holidays and summer vacations. This is open source, and many have told their stories. So we have a series made possible by a trust whose VP farms out her children. Yeah, this is the trust that puts this, that created this, that funds it. Yeah, and their VP farms out her own children. And she's also Hillary's right-hand woman. That was shown every day to kids with a host producer who has an uncanny amount of prestige, hangs out with children whose parents are elite and believed to have sex slave children. Yep. Yeah, unbelievable. All right. With these connections, one must wonder the hidden intent of Reading Rainbow. With the viewing of this show in school every single day across the country, the programming of any victimized child would be easily enforced. If this is true, those poor children never had a chance. And here is the host, and got a monarch butterfly, and it looks to me, although I could be wrong, that this is a Masonic ring, but I could be wrong about that. It's just too blurry to be able to tell, but definitely a monarch butterfly, symbol of monarch programming. She will have the power of life and death over you. Now that's a normal thing to write about a baby. Sarcasm. Bonnie will be Uber service. You need to be accurate if you're going to do this. I don't know why this is replying to Carry for Truth. I'm not sure why that person is saying that. And it says, who is John P. at the bottom of the email? That's John Podesta. Yeah. So, let me just show more replies because there might be a little bit more information. Yes, we don't care if it shows offensive content. Everything's offensive to these people. Hey, any of you having sex with kids are going to pay big time, probably eternally. Kids grow up and get wise. They are going to, okay, well, whatever. And let's go back up to the top here, because what I want to do is, oh, wait, there's more up there. Be patient and stick with me. 1. A pet is a sex slave who is a young child. Obama had a pet, and her name was Maggie Nixon. Remember that? Here they are on Martha's Vineyard. Obama is seen quite often with a Band-Aid on his left middle finger, even when he was with little Maggie Nixon. And then, of course, we have the words of, what's her name? Abramovich is her last name anyway. With a sharp knife cut deeply into the middle finger of your left hand, eat the pain. Part of spirit cooking. And let's move down. Maggie Nixon was the granddaughter of Agnes Nixon, creator of All My Children and more. Maggie is also the daughter of Sarah Nixon, who is good buds with Comet Ping Pong's James Alefantis. Maggie's mother keeps the company of many elite and powerful. And here this is her with James, and I don't know who that is. Let me just click on here. Oh my gosh, I got to get that off. I can't stand to look at stuff like that. All right, so besides Obama, little Maggie spent her summers in Martha's Vineyard with many elite celebrities, politicians, and artists. The island of Martha's Vineyard is a private, secluded playground for the rich and powerful. Clinton's handler, and yes, even Prince Andrew, to name a few. Yes, these are all hang out at Martha's Vineyard. And of course, the Obamas just bought a $15 million home there. And Michelle Obama is on this tour, and she's coming to Canada. Actually, I looked into getting tickets and choked when I found the price of them because I wanted to see what she was going to say, but not she or he, but I didn't want to know that badly because she is going to be in Quebec City and then even closer to me in Ottawa, but the tickets are outrageous, so she must be raising money for her new home, his new home, whatever. Okay, let's come down a little bit. Maggie's mother, Sarah, has an Instagram. The IG handle is 3Ring Circus. Much of the information in this thread was grabbed by citizen journalists from her Instagram account until she was exposed and put her account on private. Some of Sarah's Instagram photos were taken on Squibnocket. Okay, so I guess this is Squibnocket. Must be a part of Martha's Vineyard. Who knew? I guess we do now. And I just want to make sure there's no other pictures here, and there aren't. Okay, here is little Maggie with her friends at Squibnocket. They visited often. Pictured in this photo is Rami and Cassie David, daughters of Larry David, Hollywood elite. According to Rami's IG account, also since changed to private, they all went to Martha's Vineyard often. Per the now deleted Instagram account, the photo of the girls with the bandana tops was taken by Jennifer Janu. Janu has very disturbing artwork filled with butterflies, MK Ultra symbology, demons, and young girls. The bare girl in the bathtub looks like the littlest girl in the bandana picture. That would be her. I could see a resemblance, definitely. So, let's see. I am addicted to being the good girl. It needs to stop. I don't know who I am when I'm not good. And here's a bathtub picture that shouldn't be. The only way out through the pain and fear is confrontation with one's monster. And yes, it's very bizarre art. I concur. Okay, And let's come down a little further. These little girls were surrounded by parents who kept the company of corn niblet lovers, surrounded by the elite, politicians, and celebrities, photographed by a disturbing artist, went to an elite private island. Often, chances are, those trips were not all just for fun. Here are the same bandana girls a year or so earlier with their parents. Beside the Band-Aid on Maggie's mom's finger, the little boy doing the Eye of Horus hand symbol and the comment of, "It takes a village." Where have we heard that, Hillary? Why is LeVar Burton in this picture? Yeah, why is he? And yes, look at this. They all have Band-Aids on, well, okay, just her. But there's LeVar Burton, and this guy's making the Eye of Horus sign. There's Maggie. Yeah. Sad. They've all got their children with them, and then there's LeVar Burton. What's he doing there? And it says, Three-Ring Circus, the good old days, squib knock it with my favorite peeps, hashtag FBF, Vineyard, love these kids, memories. Well, Three-Ring Circus takes a village, Three-Ring Circus. I tried to Photoshop you in there, my sweetest den mama. Beautiful sun-kissed faces, memories to live by. Yeah, okay. And I'm just, I don't know. This gets more and more disturbing as it goes along. LeVar Burton was the host and executive producer of Reading Rainbow, which ran for 26 years, making it one of the longest running kids programs on PBS. Won over 250 awards, including 26 Emmys, and Burton himself won 12 Emmy Awards as host-producer of the show. Now, stick with me. We're with you. Okay. Reading Rainbow was made possible by a few grants and supporters. One was Pew Charitable Trusts. Who is the senior vice president of Pew Charitable Trusts? None other than Tamara Luzzatto. She served as Hillary Clinton's chief of staff. She's also WikiLeaks famous. And what is this?
Reading Rainbow is made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, by the annual financial support from viewers like you, and by grants from the National Science Foundation, the Pew Charitable Trusts, the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations, and a grant from Kellogg's, who reminds you to take time each day for reading.
Notice the monarch butterfly there.
Reading Rainbow is made possible.
Yeah, well, isn't this interesting? Now we get to where we picked it up. Luzzatto is the woman who was exposed in the Podesta WikiLeaks emails for having her kids brought by Uber to a pool party at the farm as entertainment. And she has that blog, Evie's Crib. Interesting. All these connections with all these people. Fascinating. Really, really fascinating. Well, I thought that was a little thread worth a trip down, and I hope you agree. We are going to go back now because there's a few other things I want to get to, but I don't want to make this video that long because I've already done a video and, it's getting late. Okay, now, let me see. There's a lot of things here, and I want to see what I need to get to. Okay, let's take a look at this. Speaking of children. All right. Daleiden, I'm not sure if that's a correct pronunciation, Daleiden reveals to court his horror of finding that live beating hearts of aborted babies were for sale. San Francisco, California, September 13th, 2019. In his first ever time in the witness stand, pro-life advocate David Daleiden testified to the disturbing details in the fetal organ harvesting industry that led him to embark on an undercover investigation of the gruesome practice. Daleiden and Sandra Merritt are charged with 15 felony counts of illegal recording of confidential communications in connection with undercover videos for the Center for Medical Progress released in 2015 that provide evidence of Planned Parenthood's illegal trafficking in baby body parts. Now, we have read something similar to this before. This is a little bit different. He became interested in investigating, I missed part of it. The 30-year-old graduate of Claremont McKenna College testified he worked in investigative research with Lila Rose of Live Action part-time in 2008 and full-time in 2010 before founding CMP in 2013. He became interested in investigating the aborted baby parts harvesting industry in 2012, when he saw a 2020 documentary made in 2000 about the harvesting of aborted baby organs at a Planned Parenthood in Kansas. The whistleblower in that case, Dean Alberti, worked inside the Planned Parenthood Abortion Center as a fetal tissue procurer for a company called Opening Lines. Alberti spoke on 2020 of receiving aborted babies intact and of cutting open the chest and seeing the heart was still beating. This makes me want to cry. Alberti subsequently testified in a congressional hearing that at one point, the abortion doctor brought him 24-week-old twins born alive after a failed abortion in Kansas City, Daleiden said. When Alberti said he did not want to harvest organs from living children, the abortionist then drowned them in a pan, Daleiden told the court. Daleiden said he read Alberti's congressional testimony in 2010 and after that read a book by Suzanne Rini called Beyond Abortion, A Chronicle of Fetal Experimentation, a very in-depth literature review of all fetal experimentation, and that he tried to follow up on the more significant, more disturbing studies she cited. That included a 1967 study titled The Artificial Placenta, in which a live baby is submerged in a perfusion apparatus intended to simulate a womb to see how long the fetus can stay alive. Daleiden said he believed the researchers obtained the live babies for the study from abortion and that he found the experimentation extremely disturbing. I had nightmares about it for a week afterward, he told the court. He testified that while the congressional hearings based on Alberti's revelation took place in 2000, by 2010, no major journalist, no major advocacy association had done anything further. Daleiden said he believed this was something that should be brought to the attention of the American people and to the American law enforcement. He then started investigating the fetal tissue harvesting industry on the internet, finding the company Advanced Bioscience Research, ABR, which had been operating since 1989, as long as I'd been alive, and which had escaped any scrutiny during the 2000 congressional hearings, other than a tiny bit of reporting. ABR had early on partnered with Planned Parenthood, Mar Monte, the biggest Planned Parenthood affiliate in the country, Daleiden said. He later met with Linda Tracy, the CEO of ABR, and Perrin Larton, its chief procurement officer, he told the court. Daleiden also discovered fetal tissue procurement company STEM Express when a friend sent him a link in 2011 to a Craigslist job posting by the company for a procurement technician to harvest gestational tissue. Fetal tissue. STEM Express identified Planned Parenthood clinics in Northern California as where they wanted their technician to work, Daleiden said. The STEM Express website in 2011 contained a drop-down menu of human fetal body parts you wanted to order, which included all different kinds of organs and tissues, such as brain, heart with veins and arteries attached, liver, sinus. The STEM Express website also had a drop-down menu for the gestational age of fetal body parts you wanted to order, which went up to 20 weeks, Daleiden said. Screenshots he took of the menus were in the court's exhibits. Daleiden said that at this point he was actively monitoring the fetal harvesting business on the web and noticed a Stanford University study published in Circulation in 2012 that cited STEM Express as supplying fetal hearts. The study used the Langendorf perfusion technique, and in its methods section described the process as, in brief, human fetal hearts were perfused using a Langendorf apparatus. The CEO of STEM Express, Doe number 12, testified last week that she required researchers to credit her company. Daleiden pointed out that STEM Express was cited in parentheses in the methods and practices section of the study. Daleiden said he researched the Langendorf apparatus and found that it was designed to keep fluid pumping through a heart that has been cut out of a body. So the Langendorf apparatus could not resuscitate a dead heart? Asked Daleiden's lawyer, Brentford Ferreira. My understanding is that it required a live beating heart, Daleiden said. He consulted experts, including Dr. Stephen McCurdy and Dr. Teresa Deisher. He said Dr. Stephen McCurdy specialized in internal medicine and is director of the UC Davis Master of Public Health program in Sacramento, California. Dr. Teresa Deisher is a research scientist who has a doctorate in molecular and cellular physiology from Stanford University and is founder of Sound Choice Pharmaceutical Institute and the CEO of AVM Biotechnology. Dr. Deisher told me the fetus would have to be alive at the time the organs were harvested for use in the Langendorf apparatus, Daleiden told the court. The CEO of STEM Express essentially admitted in court last week that her biotech company supplied beating fetal hearts and intact fetal heads to medical researchers. Harvesting while alive. And yes, infants definitely feel pain as much as we do. Daleiden's lawyer told the court that STEM Express was mentioned in connection with a Stanford University study where Langendorf percussion was used, a technique that requires a beating heart. Does STEM Express supply fetal hearts to Stanford? Lawyer Peter Breen asked Doe 12 during the September 6th hearing. She hesitated to answer because she said there's so much targeting of researchers. However, Judge Christopher Hite told her the question was relevant. Yes, we have provided heart tissue to Stanford, Doe number 12 said. Daleiden asked in court today that when he started CMP in 2013 to embark on his project to investigate fetal body part harvesting, he was hoping to raise $125,000 to fund his work. The undercover investigation took over 30 months from January 2013 until the first video was released in July 2015 on a shoestring budget of $100,000 and in a more piecemeal way than he'd hoped, Daleiden said. Prior to going undercover, Daleiden said he consulted with several law experts regarding whether he could record conversations under California Penal Code 632 and 633.5. Experts agreed he could. Daleiden's testimony continues. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go into all this, the continuation of this, but I think we've learned what we need to know here. And, this person is being brought up on charges, apparently, because he did go in and record these, which we would never even know that this was going on if it wasn't for him. So, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. And I, for one, am keeping up with it because it's important. It's important, and I don't know. I don't know where all this is going to lead. It's horrific what's happening. And it's also equally disturbing that so much of taxpayers' money has gone into funding it. It makes me sad because they're masquerading, you know, as a whatever you call it, a foundation or whatever that helps women. But are they really helping the women? No, they're not helping them at all. They're making money from them and probably lying to them. Anyway, let's go back. Heavy subject tonight on this for sure. And let's get to this, and then I think I'm going to call it a night. Nicholas Kristof Epstein. Now, what happened there? I don't know. Nicholas Kristof Epstein is the tip of a very large iceberg. And I'm afraid that's so. I don't want to believe it. I don't want it to be true. But I think it is. Jeffrey Epstein got away for years with raping underage girls, and the public is properly outraged that powerful people seem to shrug and let him off easy. But the problem isn't one tycoon, but many tens of thousands of men who pay for sex with underage girls across the country, and society as a whole reacts with the same indifference that authorities showed in the Epstein scandal. We see it as this singular narrative about this one guy, said Rachel Lloyd, who wrote a superb book, Girls Like Us, about her own experience being sexually trafficked as a teenager. There's a much larger narrative out there about girls, often girls of color, who are commercially sexually exploited, often with impunity. It's part of the same behavior, part of what we allow as a society, Lloyd added. He got away with it because society said he could, and that's what other Johns think as well. What was so painful about the Jeffrey Epstein case is that it wasn't shocking, Lisa Goldblatt Grace, a co-founder of My Life, My Choice, told me. A wealthy white man leveraged his money, privilege, and power to sexually abuse, to rape young girls. Or, as Yoda Soros of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children put it, Epstein is the tip of a very large iceberg. And you know what? They're right. They're right. People like him have been getting off for a very, very long time. They just don't, I don't, and I think part of the reason he wasn't prosecuted, because I don't know, he could be dead, but I don't believe he is. And I think the reason, he was CIA. And I think that they turned a blind eye to what he was doing and what he was, and because he provided them with, profitable blackmail material on enemies. That's what he was doing. He was blackmailing the rich, the famous, and the very powerful. That's what he did. And boy, there's sure a lot of people that wouldn't want that to get out. Anyway, probably many people in our own government. All right. Well, that is it for tonight. And I am going to end there, but I will be back tomorrow, just like I'll be just sitting here like a bad smell. And I don't know what I was going to say because it's late and I just lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. No, really, I do. Okay, well, I'm becoming like Biden, and that worries me. But if I become like Pelosi, please, somebody tell me. Really? I mean, we're friends, right? Tell me. Okay, well, that's it, and I wish you all a good night. I enjoy speaking with you, and I enjoy your feedback, and thank you guys so much. Those of you who donate via Ko-fi or Patreon or PayPal, I really appreciate it more than you know, because it helps to, pay for some of my time that I spend doing this. And, you know, not much, but it does help. It helps a lot. So I enjoy doing this. I want to keep doing this, and I enjoy talking to you guys. So I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay well. Stay blessed, and keep seeking truth. Good night.